Hey guys, thank you for tuning in again. I know I'm running a little bit late editing all these awesome interviews, but yeah, I'm working on it. And we're going one by one. And today I want to present to you Debora Luzi. She's such an amazing woman. She had so many things happen in her life, and it's so amazing to see how she went from a little village in Italy to, on the one hand, starting working at a corporate job, but on the other hand, after that, finding the true purpose of her life. So I'm really excited to share this with you. Have fun and enjoy listening in. Hi, and welcome everybody to today's episode. I'm very excited to have Debora here with me. Hello, Debora. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Hello. Nice to be here.
It's really awesome to have you here. Let's just dive right in. How, like, for everybody that doesn't know you yet, can you tell us a little bit about who you are today and what you do?
Right. So I am Debora Luzi, originally Italian. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and I am an author. I am a word lover and a public speaker. I help mainly entrepreneurs or small business owners to turn their words into sales and make a massive, massive impact through their stories and reaching millions of people. We actually have we had some great result of people reaching 21 million just with one piece of story. So the power of story is just incredible. And also, so I'm the founder of the Writing Academy for Entrepreneurs, which is an online global community where I teach entrepreneurs how to write content with ease, with creativity, with uniqueness, without staring at a blank paper for 5 hours. And also, I'm the founder of the Women with Dare to Desire conference, which is a center stage for visionary women ready to inspire the world with their stories. From any background, any speaking experience, they don't need to have a speaking qualification or anything. That's why I created this conference, and is currently planned to be in London, Rome, and Los Angeles. So, yes.
Nice.
So this is me, and I'm a salsa dancer. Yes.
Yay!
Yeah. Woo!
That's one of the things that I've noticed because I'm Latin American as well, and that's one of the things that I've noticed here in Germany, that a lot of the times the I'm going to just call them Latino places because it's not always salsa, but a lot of the times one of the first other nations or nationalities that start coming into those clubs is always Italians, actually.
In fact, I started dancing when I was 17.
Wow.
I was working in a hotel. I was doing the season, so like May to September, like 24/7 working in a hotel. And I had no time, so I used to finish at 9 o'clock. And a friend of mine was like, "Oh, Deborah, there is a bar over there. They do Venezuelan salsa," because they all have different, Colombia, Venezuelan, Cuban, New York. And I was so tired. Like, imagine after working since 7 a.m. in the morning. And once a week, I would cycle to this club and have 1 hour lesson. And I was like so tired, I'm telling you, but I've learned a lot, yes.
Nice. It's a nice passion. So tell me, because you're living in London right now.
Yes, I'm in London, but originally Italian, yes.
How did you end up, like, how did you start in Italy in a hotel, like you were saying, working there, and then end up today being such an amazing woman, organizing and supporting so many entrepreneurs all over the world from London?
I mean, I never would have thought so, but when I was a child, I had a bit of a challenging childhood. And I always felt a little bit the outsider. I always felt that there was, I was meant for something. I wasn't meant. I come from a very small village, May, in Italy, very, very small, where you blow your nose and people talk about it. It's like they absolutely know everything, and people spy you behind the curtains, and you have a piercing in your nose, and you are terrible, you know. So I always felt that my village felt really tight for me, and the atlas was my best friend, my best book. I always open the atlas and look at all these places. And at 18, after finishing studying bookkeeping and accountancy, my dad wanted me to go and work in a bank. So he organized an interview for me. And I went to the interview with my piercing and, you know, with kind of sitting like this, you know, very chill out. And the guy asked me, your dad wants this job, not you, right? And I said, yes. And so he said, I'm not going to give it to you. And then anyway, my dad was devastated. He was like, why? You know, he really liked you because I've done a trial work for them. And then a friend of mine said she was going to London. So I came to London to work as an au pair. I had a very difficult time. I didn't know anybody. I was thrown out by my family. Oh. And then, you know, started to find other job. And then I went back to au pair. And then I found myself a job like from, you know, receptionist, really starting from zero, bartender, you know, waitressing, all this type of job that you can imagine. And then I did a lot of traveling as well. So I was going to Italy to work or working here very hard. And then I would travel as a backpacker. I traveled to more than 55 countries. Wow. So yeah, I worked. I taught salsa dancing, Spanish, English, lots of different things. And yeah, so slowly, I've done a lot of different jobs. And the things with me, every job I started from the very bottom, and we're talking very, very bottom, and I made my way to become a manager in every job I've done. With no qualification, just I am a very stubborn and resilient person. And I like to know things. Like if I don't know something, I want to learn. And then, yeah, after 10 years in corporate, I decided to leave it and start my own business. Yeah, so this is a little bit the journey.
Wow, that's amazing. So from on one hand, becoming a backpacker for several years, how was it for you transitioning to going to corporate after that?
Going to corporate transition, I remember I was backpacking in South America for 1 year with my ex-husband. We rented the flat that we had, and we were traveling in South America. And I left my job where I was a manager for photography, like in a photography department. Mm-hmm. And after traveling for 1 year, I fell pregnant with my first child. And I remember coming back to London, and you know, we started to be on the verge of, you know, like really splitting up. And I remember having, you know, I had left my job, so I had to start from zero. So pregnant, I think about 5 months pregnant, hiding my belly. I went back to waitressing. Okay. And doing cashing. And I remember I was wearing this big poncho, you know, from Peru. Mm-hmm. This massive poncho from Peru, and it was very hot, but I wanted to hide my belly because I thought they would tell me to leave the job. And so, yeah, I had to start from zero again. And then, you know, I made my way up again to be a manager. They never kicked me out because I was pregnant, so for sure.
Nice. But did you manage to become a manager before your baby was born or after?
No, after.
After.
So what happened when my baby was, when I finally told them I was pregnant and I was a receptionist, I said, listen, if you want me to go, I'm going. And there was one lady, she really wanted me to go. She said, oh, like, you know, you're pregnant. And then because the place where I was working at or started, so they offered me a position in the office because I could sit down. And then from going to the office, you know, I had my baby and I came back and I became a manager. Nice. So yeah, it was incredible. And then of course I divorced. I divorced when my baby was 6 months. So there was a lot going on.
All at the same time. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
So would you say that you decided to do the corporate job because of the baby on the way, or was it just to do something? No,
yeah.
oh wait, and knowing that you were on the verge of separating from your husband.
Do you know, to be honest, I was on a survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
If you told me, give me a broom and go and sweep the street, I would have done it, or I don't know, just go and wash plates. I was flatless, like our flat was rented, the home that I had with my ex. I was sleeping on the floor, pregnant, on a friend's floor, because she had some health condition, and I couldn't, I was like, I sleep on the floor, don't worry. And also I like it because I couldn't find a way. I was quite big, so I slept on the floor, and I just would have done anything to survive, because I have no family here. I had to pay the rent because I couldn't stay in that place for a long time. So I just found this job on a paper, and I remember, I went to the interview, and I had actually that day when I went to the interview, I was mugged. Can you believe it?
Oh my God.
Yes, I went to I was on my way to the interview, and I was mugged. I had £50 in my wallet, and it was very, like, almost all I had. And I was mugged, and I called the lady on the interview, and I was crying, and I said, I'm really sorry, just forget about it. I've just been mugged, and, just leave it. And I think she felt sorry for me. She felt so sorry for me, and I was like, don't worry, because there was a strict deadline for the job. But I think she liked me straight away, because then I said I was Italian. We started talking, and she said, oh, you know what? Come back, because I really want to meet you. So it was such a big coincidence. And then she gave me another chance she extended the deadline.
Mm.
And I went to this job, and I got the job straight away.
Nice.
And it could have been a gardener job, whatever. I would have done it. I would have done it because I needed to work. So that's what it was.
Amazing. But again, this is like you still had a drive to, like you said, it was just survival mode, but look where you're now. I mean,
Yeah.
this is like starting from zero to become this. It's amazing.
Yeah, and also because, especially for what I do, I'm a writer, and I teach people how to write content that sells. And for me was always like a lot of, like the monkey mind. It's like, where are you going, Deborah? You're Italian, your English is not perfect. So if you had told me back then, when I took that job as a receptionist, that I would do what I do today, I really wouldn't believe it, absolutely wouldn't believe it, because I was like, wow. So I am the living proof that anything is possible, really.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
amazing.
I went through a lot of hardship. I didn't go to university, May. I did university jobs, like, that I've learned, things that people go to university to learn, that skills, and I've learned it on the job. So anything is possible.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
How was it for you? Did you ever think about going back to Italy with your children?
Not really, to be honest. I tried to go back to Italy when I was single, still no children. I remember closing my bank account, doing a party, and saying goodbye to my friends. And I went to Italy, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I didn't know what to do. And so I came back. And we actually go into Italy next week to see, my family. And my father died during COVID.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I want to see him, and hopefully do a little ceremonial or something for him.
Mm.
I go there, and even though I love Italy as my country, I'm not one of those person that is very nationalistic and is like, yeah, you know, like waving the flags. And, you know, I'm proud of being Italian, but I feel more as citizens of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I go back, and maybe because I come from a small village, it feels claustrophobic almost.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm sure you know you can relate, because I traveled so much. I experienced many cultures, many. I've known so many things during my traveling. You know, I danced with the Hare Krishna. I did meditation for 10 days with Buddhists, and you know, I read all things. I shared story with people. I traveled alone, and I'm very independent. You know, I don't like people looking at me and judging me, and you know, it's like um, I like I like freedom. So going back to Italy, it would feel really tight for the person I am today. Maybe when I retire, who knows? But no, not now.
Yeah, I completely understand. In my case, because my family's living in a little village at the moment, um, and I think I still feel free because I know I'm here to, you know, spend time with my family, and whenever I'm ready, I have my bags and I can just leave. It's not like I have to be here. I actually had that living in a big, because I used to live in Munich before, and that felt claustrophobic for me. And
Wow,
that was a big city, but to me it felt like something was, you know, holding me in one place, and I'm like, the world is so big, I need, you know. And yeah.
completely. And you know, your mind changes. You know, you never see the world with the same eyes. Like when I left and I was 18, I was very
Yeah.
naive. Um, you know, I was very fearful. I didn't believe in myself very much. So yeah, I'm very, very different from that person. And I think that's the beauty of the journey that you go through, right? So
Definitely.
yeah.
How was it for you when you decided to leave the corporate world and become your own entrepreneur or mompreneur? I think nowadays you're called mompreneurs.
Yeah, I got 3 children, and it has been very challenging during lockdown.
Yeah.
I seriously, I take my hat off to myself, because it has been like a lot. But leaving the corporate May was kind of a non-negotiable decision, because I was an event and marketing manager, and I wasn't really happy, satisfied, and I had a bit of an argument with my boss, and I wanted to go into his office and tell him off. And I remember my HR manager stopping me and sitting at my desk, and I started to look at, you know, something pop up from the coaching. So I started to, you know, study coaching, healing, and went into this beautiful journey of healing myself from my past and my beliefs. And then I married again, and I had my twins. And because I was working in corporate, I was the breadwinner, I was the woman, you know, and until late at night, my husband was doing all the run and all the pickups. So my children they were not really bond, that we didn't have a great bond. And it was
Mm.
very, very sad. And I was like, oh my God. And sometimes I would go and put them in bed, and they would go, Mommy, we don't want you. You know, we want daddy.
Oh.
So it was one of the worst period of my life. I cried, and I'm not a person that cries and do nothing. So I tried, you know, I said to my husband, can you step out a little bit? Can you let me be with them? So I used to have more time with them, just one by one, but it wasn't really working. And then what happened me, like the universe, I think, interfered. One of my son had, one of the twins had a serious accident, and he nearly died.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I remember running to the hospital and begging him to leave. And I said, please, you know, Mommy is going to leave the job. And I promise you, I'm going to be with you, pick you up. And he survived. And here I am. You know, they're over there in the other room. after this, we're going to take them to the park, we're going to go football. I kept the promise. So I left corporate and I started my own journey. I started as coaching and healing first. I had my own business, which I even hadn't finished my qualification, and I started to have clients already, with my healing. And it was kind of, I think if that didn't happen, maybe when you think about it next year, I remember having written the resignment letter. And I was like, I'm going to give it next month. And it never happened. And then that incident happened. And I was like, I'm leaving. And it felt so beautiful. It was like the best decision ever. Oh my God, I just can't imagine my life without that decision. So, yeah, I had to thank my little one for waking me up.
That's amazing. I mean, on one hand, I think it's sad because that's how we humans are. We sometimes need something strong to happen for us to finally, do the steps. But that is also one of the reasons why I think it's so important for us to tell the stories, because that way maybe someone else can do it without having something that strong,
Yeah,
to do that.
You're so right. I mean, sometimes we do wait for that moment where we don't need to get there.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was wondering, did you ever have, like fears of, when you, I mean, on one hand, deciding to become your own entrepreneur, but how was it then, like, because I know from other people and myself as well, like fears of not being good enough when you start working, or maybe not having enough clients, like not getting enough income. How was that? How were you dealing with that? If you ever had them?
Oh, yeah. I think any entrepreneurs on the planet have that, even the ones that are past way, the 7-figure or whatever. I always remember a video that Oprah did when she interviewed people. She said every time the camera goes off, from all the celebrity, it was like, was that good enough? Everybody asks, even if these people have been on camera. So I think it's a fear that we all have, and you just have to live with it and do not let win over you. But of course, I mean, when I started my business, I felt like a little ant in the social media world. I would see all these people and coaches like, I made 5, I made this 10 figures, 11 figures, and I have this amount of client, and I'm the boss. And I was looking at them. I remember looking and reading. I was like, how do they do it? I was like, I could never do that. And I would see people having conversations online and writing and posting. And I thought, God, I'll never be able to do that. And it's a journey, May. You just have to take one day at a time. And you're just going to go, you know what? I'm like that, because I used to work a lot with my clients about, talking to fears and, overcoming beliefs. So I was like, today, I give you a break. Go and have a tequila, and I am going to post. So leave me alone. I used to talk to my fears.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I do it like now. I'm like, leave me alone. I got work to do. And you just do it. You take one little step. And then from not showing up online, for example, from not getting clients, from not selling, you do one little step. Maybe one day you have a conversation and it's terrible. And then you go like, okay, it's learning. And I'm not a perfectionist. That's, I think, one of the things that helped me in my life. And sometimes I'm like, oh, if you're a perfectionist, it's tough. Perfectionism is poverty. So because I'm not really a perfectionist, I prefer to put something out there. I put stuff out there made that was not perfect. I sell crystal jewelry. The first crystal jewelry that I made, they broke. They broke all, like some of them broke. So, but I never waited to have something ready, to have the moon twisted or pink, or I just went for it. I'm just jumping all the time. And I think when I started to make little jumps, and now I love, and I'm like, yeah, let's see what happens. And you know, I'm really have this belief, and I love jumping. Yes.
And I think it's so important because that way you start practicing right away. You can see if it works or not. And if you see it more as a playful thing, it might even, you know, like instead of maybe failing, it might even work, you know, it might just be good enough.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember from a lot of my failures, like I remember the lady that bought my necklace that broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
She actually later on became one of my first coaching clients.
Wow.
Because the necklace broke, she had to find me to replace the necklace. And then we started to talk, and she bought one of my packages, you know, for coaching. So you go. There's always, I have so many stories of things that went wrong that actually were a big blessing in my life. So
Yeah. I always like quoting, and I know I've quoted it so many times, but I'm still doing it. In Spanish, we have the saying, no hay mal que por bien no venga.
No venga, claro, yo hablo muy
Right?
español.
Exacto. So that's, you know, that's the thing. There's so many things that happen to us that in that moment might seem not so good, but in the end, they're always for something, you know, if it is something big happening, because it steers us into the right direction.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you ask yourself now compared to when you were working in the corporate world, where were you feeling more fulfilled?
Mm.
Would you say
Before,
it's now or before?
oh, but now, of course. I mean, even when I was traveling, you know, I did so much traveling and I saw some amazing places. I wasn't very happy.
Mm.
I was a very insecure girl. I was very, lots of trauma and lots of different things. So I actually wrote a post the other day saying that maybe I was, you know, I looked younger, I looked more beautiful, I was more toned, I had less wrinkles, but I would never change this Deborah for my 20-year-old Deborah. A 20-year-old Deborah was no. I mean, I'm glad that she existed because that's why this one exists because of her. But I wouldn't go back, you know, to that moment.
Oh, yeah, that's so beautiful because I mean that how often do we, you know, either regret things from the past or are so sorry for something from the past, but it's so beautiful to see who we are now and to see all the adventures we had, right? And to
They made
acknowledge
us
those
who we
things.
are today, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so important, really important. So
That's so beautiful. If you would think of like for what you do right now, what would be the ideal person to come and ask you to for help?
so obviously I people call me the word queen. Any entrepreneur, coach, consultants, be small business owners, that they need to show up on social media, that they need to create their own content. So I don't personally believe in copywriting, like somebody writing it for you.
Mhm.
It's okay, you can have a copywriter for a website, but I believe in you need to write at least 60-70% of your content. So if people don't know what to write about, they don't know how to express themselves, how to share story, how to sell through their words, then you know they can come to me because I have my writing academy where I teach people to really, and I have a beautiful writing challenge actually made that happen. My next one is in September. It's a free challenge where I really, I call it, I unleash the writing genius in you. Because we all have a writing, you know, genius inside of us, but sometimes we don't give it a pen. Sometimes we think, oh, I can't say that, or that's not too organized, too perfect. And words needs to be expressed, words needs to be out, let out, because otherwise they become trapped emotions, right? So that's where words are healing. So anybody will find it challenging to write and needs to create content. And also my other part of the business is speaking. Obviously I do conferences, so I teach people how to become, I do training, how to become more confident when speaking. through improvisation, acting, lots of storytelling, kind of a different, less corporate approach, more human, more from the heart. So, this is what I can help them with.
That sounds great, because it sounds very authentic, right? With
Absolutely,
all the things.
This is all what it's about, when I started my business, I used to pretend to be somebody else. I used to put on this, yes, hello, good evening. Yes, very much indeed. And please click on the right for my, all using. And I was like, and, I'm quite funny. I love humor. I'm a bit sarcastic. I love dancing. I mean, sometimes I did business video dancing, salsa. Can you believe it?
Nice.
So, sometimes I do funny faces, or I write funny posts, and being authentic, it's big fundamental of my work. I don't like people that are too, one face, and then they switch off the camera and they go, yeah, they go like, this kind of thing. You're like, why not being in front of the camera? So, and that's what will make you stand out, right?
And I also think one part, because that's one of the things that I had to struggle with, because I went through 3 different marketing schools, and I feel like all of them were teaching me on how to speak with my clients, what to say to my clients. And that's one of the things that I actually just realized in the last couple of months, how much I was censoring myself because of that.
Yeah.
And so even though it's not that I intentionally wanted to be someone else, but I wasn't being authentic because of that, because I was like, I'm supposed to not say it this way. I have to say it the other way. And that way it was making it completely not me.
Yeah. And they give you script. I follow some script. They say, you have to do the sale this way. You need to do it that way. So it's all kind of mechanic. And I sell very spontaneously. Sometimes I don't even realize, and I have a conversation and somebody says something and I'm like, oh, just natural, because when you really love what you do, and when you know that, what you have can change. Like if I hear somebody that struggle with content, why would I go, sorry, let me say, okay, all right, so what is your problem? Or, I would just really go with my heart and, just say, okay, where are you struggling? And, this is what you can do. I'll give you some tips. So it's really from the passion, right? I think marketing comes a lot from the passion and the belief that what you sell change lives. There's no marketing script or anything that can win that.
And I think also on that side, times have changed, because I believe that we used to have like these, marketing gurus, and you have to follow them to get your business running. And nowadays I feel that it's like everybody knows that it's just a game, or that it's just playful. So now if you're more authentic and if you're more yourself, that's what actually stands out.
Absolutely, because that's the only thing. There was a famous sentence, actually really nice. You better be yourself because everybody else is taken.
Yeah.
I love that. And when I started my business, I tried to be a bit of Mary, a bit of John. I tried to look like Tracy. I tried to speak like, Frederick. And it didn't work. It didn't work. So, yeah.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah, the best things.
You were telling me earlier, how many languages do you speak?
4.
So I know English, Italian, Spanish,
and French. So French is the least that I speak, but I can have conversations, but Italian, English, and Spanish are very, like written and spoken. And actually I speak better Spanish than Italian. It's terrible.
Really?
My husband is from Colombia.
Nice.
So, we go there often and we speak Spanish at home. So, I learn and love Spanish. I love all the languages. If I one of my goals would be really to learn another language, but there's so many things after my children go back to school that I want to do, May. I can't even tell you. First, I want to go on a spa day for like 3 days. I want to have a private chef. I want to have a masseur.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I want to have somebody dressing me in the morning because it's like, oh my God, because it's being 24/7 at home, cooking 3 meals a day. And you know, I need a break. I need a break. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. That's so nice. No, but I think it's interesting because I have to say that even though Spanish is my first language, I think my English is better than Spanish because I just speak it more and also read more about it. Yeah.
Which country are you, me?
I'm Ecuadorian Chinese.
Ah, right.
So my mom's Ecuadorian Chinese and my dad's German. So I have.
Amazing. I've been to Ecuador. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful,
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
nice. It's really nice. I enjoy it there too sometimes, but now I feel that the Caribbean is calling me a little bit more at the moment.
Oh, yes. We might go together actually when lockdown is over. We might do.
Yes, that would be nice. Yeah,
I actually
that would
say
be
in
amazing.
a funny way a lot of the time to people, when the kids go back to school, I'm gonna go to the Caribbean for a week.
I bet. I've been meaning to check out the Colombian Caribbean side because I like scuba diving very much.
Me too.
And yeah, so I just checked out Panama. I really fell in love with Panama, so I do want to go back there as well. But I still want to check out Colombia too.
Yeah, Colombia is beautiful. I mean, I haven't been to San Andres, but you know, been to Cartagena, and there's a lot of beautiful highland there. It's just beautiful. But Panama is one of my favorite countries in Central America.
Yeah.
San Blas is. It's another thing. It's really another thing. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I just stayed the quarantine time 4 months in Bocas del Toro.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of I kept saying to my family, like, I could be stuck in a worse place.
I love
This wasn't too bad at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Wow.
Very nice. Deborah, I have one last question because I see that we're already with the time.
Yeah.
How do you have like a book? I know it's sometimes hard because we sometimes have more than just one, but would you say there's one book that changed your life? Or 2 or 3? Or none, because sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be a reader.
There is quite a few books, and I have one, you know, behind me. Let me see if it's there. One is this. I mean, there's a lot. One is called Emergence, which is beautiful. It talks about the human potential.
Oh, Emergence?
From Emergence. I don't remember the
author.
Oh, actually, there's the other one. I have to find. Wait. Okay, so I got them here. So nice. One is Emergence. I don't remember the author, but it's beautiful because it really talks about, you know, it gives the metaphor of a acorn becoming an oak. And it said every acorn, it is meant to become an oak. You know, it's in there, but some become, some they don't, right? But it is, you know, it is in there. So it really talks about the human potential in a beautiful, beautiful way. The other book, it's this. This has completely changed my life. It's called Debbie Ford, The Dark Side of the Light Chaser. The way, I mean, this is one of the best books because, you know, it really teaches you that we are everything that we dislike, and we are everything that we repel. So it really talks, I mean, honestly, what it does, there is a lot of examples of, you know, for example, you know, people in society that they do really bad things, criminals and all these kind of things. And it really makes you think and ask questions around yourself. For example, the people that you dislike, that you hate. you know, whatever it is, there is something in you of that. You know, we're not perfect. And it really looks within before you do that. Because, you know, when you judge, you know this, right? It's one are them and three are you.
Yeah.
So that is really, you know, this is one of the biggest eye-opening. And before I judge now, I always think about this book. And I do believe that, you know, when I talk, I'm like, oh my God, look at that person. I'm like, what is it in them that is in me? And the last book, I don't know if you know this, is a Peruvian, Hernan Huarache Mamani. He's actually, I think he died. This is unfortunately not translated in English, but it's called La Donna della Coda d'Argento, which means the woman from the silver tail. And he talks about this woman, and I've been through divorce, right? So it talks about this beautiful woman going through divorce and loving, like she adored her husband. And one day, you know, he left her, said, listen, I don't love you anymore. And obviously her life depended on the husband. You know, she didn't have any identity, and that's how I felt. You know, I don't know if you heard about the book Women Who Love Too Much. I was a kind of
but
that type of woman. And then she goes into Peru. She goes into a journey to discover herself, to find, you know, who she really was. And she becomes this really powerful woman. And she goes through a lot, like she meets these shamans, and she goes through a lot of adversity. Like she sleeps in the jungle alone, totally in the dark for like one night, and, you know, not like pitch black. There was nothing around her. And she goes through a lot of tests in her life, and then she found herself again, and she becomes this amazing woman. And then she goes back, and, you know, the husband sees her, and all the people are like, oh my God, what happened? And then of course the husband wants to go back, but she's now a being on her own. She's this amazing, powerful woman. And so it resonates a lot with my story. I haven't been to, I mean, I actually been to Peru, but you know, my journey of really after my divorce, finding my strength again. So yeah, all of this free.
That's amazing. And I think that's what it's all about. It's about really finding our inner strength and our true selves, and living that, right, to the outside world.
Completely. Absolutely.
Oh, Deborah, this was really, really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. For everybody that was listening in, we're going to put all the links below so that you can see everything. So if you guys feel that you want to learn more about how to speak authentically, or how to write if you're having a business, or maybe if you're working somewhere where you need to write things, social media posts authentically, we're going to put all the links below so that you can find Deborah. And Deborah, thank you so much. This was really inspiring. I really love how you went through, how your story went, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, it was. You're a beautiful host. You know, I just went. We drove around, and, you know, the story, and really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everybody to listen. That listening. I'm sure you are here. You're listening for a reason. If you had any aha moment, if any way my story inspired you to take an action, make sure that after now you take it in the next, I don't even say 24 hours, 2 hours. Whatever you do, if you drive, stop and take that action, because tomorrow is too late.
Yeah, thank you. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to just say thank you as well. And like Deborah said,
thank you very much.
Do them as soon as possible.
All right.
Thank you, and bye everybody.
Bye. Bye.